Word for word, the same thing. You see, Hitler was a socialist. Nazi means National Socialist German Workers' Party. If you don't believe me, look it up. Hitler socialized Germany. Hitler was a socialist. Socialists are Nazis. Socialism is not liberal like you've been taught, ladies and gentlemen. Instead of liberalizing the world in the great liberal ideas of the founding fathers of this country, that all men are created equal and possess at birth certain unalienable, creator-endowed natural rights, socialism wants to take you backwards into the enslavement of the past. You see, ladies and gentlemen, socialism, where you create a nation or world of victims who must be taken care of by Big Brother or Big Daddy the state, is the same old medieval serfdom where the helpless victim serfs are given a piece of land and certain benefits of the landowner or landlord, and they become indentured, indebted, and inserfed for the rest of their lives. It's no different. It's feudalism is what it is. The only thing, there'll only be one feudal lord, and that will be Big Brother. It's about time that all of you sat down and started thinking about things instead of listening to these chronic liars, deceivers, and manipulators and believing what they tell you. They will lead you down the garden path. They will give you a beautiful pair of rose-colored glasses, and they will whisper lies in your ear until you realize all of a sudden that you have stepped off the edge of a cliff and are falling to your doom. And while that's happening, they will yell down to you, "Don't worry, everything's okay. We've made arrangements to catch you at the bottom." Liars to the end. Liars, that's right. If you're a socialist, I'll call you a liar to your face. It's the truth. Socialism sucks, ladies and gentlemen, and so do socialists. They will destroy you. They will destroy this nation. Senator Leonard then succinctly described the problem and solution by stating, quote, "It is impossible to support school-to-career reforms if those implementing the changes are motivated by social engineering. It does not matter whether the engineers are Nazis or kindergarten teachers." And more often than not, the two are the same. The idea that a government bureaucracy can better determine the direction of your child's life than the parents is frightening. Makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck and a chill go down my spine to think that they could ever get their grimy hands on my little children. They never will, because I homeschool. And if they ever challenge that, I have the Supreme Court decision that says the business of educating the children is the responsibility and the rights of the parents. It is Big Brother, ladies and gentlemen. Big Brother. Big Brother. Big Brother. Big Brother. You ever see that gorilla in the movies, standing up, huge, beating his chest, King Kong? That's Big Brother. It is Big Brother, and it is being funded by your tax dollars right now. Schools ought to teach all students, first, more important than anything else in this entire world, how to read. Because if a child does not learn how to read, anything else you may teach them will come to absolutely nothing in this modern world. First, reading. First, primary, of utmost, number one importance over anything else whatsoever. Reading. Reading. Next is how to write. 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 and then how to calculate, do mathematics, and then analyze and think originally through problems. With these skills, ladies and gentlemen, and foundational knowledge, students will be prepared to enter any occupation or career they choose. And if you teach them the correct and proper, the real history of the world and of this country, they will be prepared to maintain their freedom and to make sure that it is never taken from them. To predetermine their occupational skill or career paths is wrong. It's dangerous, and it's ugly. Very, very ugly. But there are people in your school, wherever you live, who are doing their very best to implement these plans. And every time you see someone engaged in that, if you check their credentials, you'll find that they belong to the National Education Socialist. National Education Association. Socialist. Marxist socialist from beginning all the way down the line, all the way through history. And I can back that up with their own words, their own writings, their own pamphlets, their own training programs, their own books. The state of North Dakota has been involved in the federal School to Work program for 3 years. And its labor commissioner, Craig Hagan, has resigned from that state's School to Work management team after serving on it from its creation 3 years ago. Why did he resign? Because he couldn't accept what the federal government was forcing his state to do with School to Work. He asked, quote, "Are we preparing children to live as whole human beings or just employees? When did the schoolhouse become the job training center of America?" End quote. In June 1996, Oklahoma's elected labor commissioner, Brenda Renow, advised Governor Frank Keating that Oklahoma should not accept federal School to Work monies. She wrote in the Daily Oklahoman, September 19, 1996, quote, "School to Work teachers now spend less time on academics as students spend more time outside the classroom getting real-world learning experiences." And at least one Oklahoma School to Work document specifically states that those more traditional teachers who prove reluctant to go along with the new order will need to find new work. The whole concept of a planned labor force being created through legislative fiat is absurd. But those who have read Goals 2000 and the School to Work Opportunities Act know the game plan is very real, end quote. Another Oklahoman speaking out against School to Work is Tony Maggio, a former senior vice president and corporate chief technical officer of Seagate Technology, and a former vice president to engineering for Control Data Corporation. In a recent article on School to Work, Maggio wrote, quote, "Why should businessmen glibly sign on to a radical education approach when asked to join a School to Work partnership?" End quote. He then suggests, quote, "Questioning those who ask for your support for a new radical education program. What actual evidence exists to indicate the new change will work better than the prior systems and methods that worked before? Show me the prototype results. Will the changes be carefully introduced into selected environments and results monitored, or will they be implemented system-wide across the board and hope for the best?" End quote. To not ask such critical questions, he suggests, quote, "is to act irresponsibly and to have business abrogate its social obligations, deny its competitive heritage, and become an active partner in the continued demise of our education system," end quote. Tony Maggio's article is being distributed by the Oklahoma Council on Public Affairs. You can contact Brandon Butcher at the OCPA at this number, 405-843-9212. That's 405-843-9212. That's in Oklahoma City. School to work. School to work, ladies and gentlemen, will involve the total restructuring and nationalization of American education, whereby schools are turned into job training centers so that Americans can compete in the global economy of an interdependent world. Remember what I've been telling you? Some of you think I'm nuts. Well, I'm not nuts, folks. If you live during the next 20 years, you're going to see it all come to pass right before your eyes. You will watch the enslavement of America. If you love your children, is that the future that you're going to give them? The internationalization of American education, if all of this is successful, will, of course, soon follow. It must follow, because the goal is a totalitarian, socialist, one-world government. In a February 24, 1997 address to the American Council on Education, United Nations Secretary General Kofi Annan stated, quote, "If the United Nations is responsible for contributing to the promotion of education, I submit that educators, too, have certain responsibilities toward the United Nations. Through education, we can cultivate a citizenry prepared to thrive in the knowledge-based, interdependent society of the future. National security and national interests can no longer be thought of in narrowing terms. We have long since passed the point at which a leader, politician, or business person can afford to think in only local terms or assume that there is only one way of doing things. As the world stands poised at the dawn of a new millennium, the United Nations has an indispensable, unique moral authority in world affairs." End quote. You can